Well, good afternoon and welcome to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall in Providence, home of the Providence College Friars as they get set to take on the Marquette Golden Eagles in Big East women's basketball action. I'm Mike Mancuso, joined today by Pam Roker. And Pam, an exciting time, the beginning of the Big East season. These teams have already played a couple of games, but both still in search of their first Big East win.
Yeah, you know, Mike, it's early in Big East play, like you said. Both these teams had great success in the non-conference portion of the season, winning 9 games each. But they've got players in new roles. The loss of graduation has really changed the position for each of these teams. Big East pressure, different level. They've got to rise to the occasion. This is a big one today.
Absolutely. And, of course, Marquette losing all 5 starters from a season ago. But one of the players that has really stepped up, one of the returning players, has been Selena Lott.
You know what? She's one of the most athletic players in the league. She's a preseason All-Big East selection, Mike, and she's established herself as one of the best defenders in the league over her first 2 years. This year, she's a much more offensive-minded player. She's the go-to scorer. She also leads the Big East in assists. She's really doing it all for Coach Duffy's squad.
Yeah, she's been outstanding in the early part of the season for sure. On the other side of the hardwood for the Friars, look no further than Mary Baskerville.
The 6'3 sophomore. She's a unanimous All-Big East selection following her Freshman of the Year campaign last year. She's 6'3". She's a presence on both ends of the court. She has great size. She can score the basketball. She's a shot blocker. And she's really a key performer for the Friars. She's going to need to have a big game today because the Golden Eagles very tough inside. A lot of their scoring comes from in the paint.
And, of course, you can't miss her with that green hair. So we'll step aside for just a few moments. When we return, we'll have the starting lineups and the opening tip from here in Friartown. This is the Big East on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
And welcome back to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall, just moments away from the opening tip. Friars and the Marquette Golden Eagles. Time to take a look at the starting lineups for this afternoon's game. So we check out the Golden Eagles of Marquette. No real surprises for head coach Megan Duffy to be Althea Anderson, Jordan King, Selena Lott, Izzy Spingola, and Lauren Van Clunen. Again, all 5 starters from last year graduated, and that accounted for over 8,000 career points. On the other side for the Friars, it'll be Kayla Webb, Chanel Williams, Kira Spiewak, Mary Baskerville, and Andrea Cooper making her first start of the season, as unable to go early on will be Olivia Orlando. Friars in the home graves with black numerals going from left to right across your screen. Have won the opening tip. Trying to take care of that basketball has been an issue at times for the Friars this season. Here's Chanel Williams trying to drive baseline. Kicks it out for Spiewak. Puts up the little floater, too strong. Cooper the rebound to keep the possession alive.
Andrea Cooper with her first start, Mike. She's an undersized post player, gives Coach Crowley good minutes off the bench, typically. Big role for her today.
Althea Anderson able to disrupt that last shot from Cooper. Now the 3 ball from Spingola won't go. Van Clunen able to get down low for the rebound, and Marquette will reset through the freshman, Jordan King.
Marquette has good size. They've done an excellent job on the boards this year. Friars are going to have to limit second chance opportunities.
Now Marquette #1 in rebounding margin, plus 6.5 on the season. That's Selena Lott taking it to the rack. Not getting the hoop, but heading to the line for 2. Take a look at head coach Megan Duffy in her first season at the helm of the Golden Eagles, taking over for Carolyn Keeger. 2 seasons of 20-plus victories at Miami of Ohio, and of course, returning to the Big East was 2-time All-Big East point guard at Notre Dame back in the day.
Yeah, led them to 4 NCAA tournaments. Played professionally, internationally, as well as in the WNBA. One of the great young coaches in the game today.
Certainly has a lot of energy and enthusiasm. We had the pleasure of chatting with her yesterday afternoon, and she is definitely a dynamite person to chat with. Here is Chanel Williams. The Friars trailing 2-0 after the 2 made free throws from Lott. Baskerville It's going to get called for the offensive foul, as getting in position that time was Lauren Van Clunen.
Great position by Van Clunen. And one of the things we know about a Jim Crowley offense, Mike, is he likes ball reversal. He wants spacing. He wants some patience. That time, Baskerville going very early. Just see the end of the play there. A little bit too methodical. Van Clunen able to pick up the charge.
Well, and it's one of the last things the Friars wanted, is keeping Mary Baskerville on the court has become a priority, but also a challenge over the course of this season. So for her to pick up a foul in the first 2 minutes, not ideal for Coach Crowley, as Van Clunen able to connect on her first jumper of the day, and Marquette out to a quick 4-0 lead.
Van Clunen able to read the spacing. Nice touch.
And she's really picked it up in Big East play, scoring about 5 points more per contest in conference games thus far. Friars still looking for their first points of the day. Here's Cooper trying to drive. Had the hold up, tough shot, won't go. Anderson the rebound, and Baskerville nearly picking up her second.
Yeah, Golden Eagles doing a great job with their rotation in defense. They're providing a lot of help.
On the outside, here's Jordan King, the freshman, a little bit strong on that one. Cooper the rebound, and here comes Williams. Chanel Williams made the Big East rookie team as a freshman a couple seasons back. Here's Baskerville skipping it on across for Cooper. To the corner now, Spiewak. Williams trying to drive. Nowhere to go as she was sealed off by Spingola. Cooper able to get out of a double team. Feeds Baskerville, and the Friars are not going to get it off in time. Solid defense there from the Golden Eagles.
Great start by Marquette on the defensive end of the court. You see the Friars in that 5-out attack. They still want to get the ball inside. Coach Crowley refers to it as paint touches. One of the things we're seeing right now, though, with that kind of inconsistency on the offensive end, Mike, is the loss of Olivia Orlando. We'll talk about all the different things she brings to the table for Providence.
Nice read that time by Baskerville, able to intercept the pass from Anderson. Williams, a little B-button turbo, but can't finish on the layup. Spingola now the other way. Selena Lott fires up the three, left it short. And Williams just barely stay in bounds there on the far side.
Providence rebounds by committees. They really count on the guards to run down rebounds.
Baskerville on the inside, and you see how deadly she can be when she gets in position.
Yeah, nice look in the secondary break.
One thing a lot of coaches have praised Baskerville about her movement. Kind of a deceptive speed, able to get up and down the floor so quickly. Spingola loses the handle, then kicked out of bounds by Van Clunen. And the Friars will make a little line change here. Erlette Scott, Alyssa Geary, and Olivia Orlando, who has been battling some ankle injuries. We take a look there. Jim Crowley now in his 4th season at the helm of the Friars. Picked up his 300th career win earlier this year against UMass.
Yeah, real veteran coach, has done such a great job with the resurgence of the Friars program. 16 of his Division I years at St. Bonaventure. Really an outstanding defensive coach.
Friars now looking to tie things up. Orlando for Erlette Scott, and he's going to get called for a travel in the corner. Got a little bit too excited on that shot fake.
Friars really struggling to find their offensive rhythm. There's another good look at Coach Duffy, a former point guard.
And the one thing Marquette, feeling that they don't really have a true point guard this season. Jordan King's kind of been forced into that role, but came into Marquette primarily as a scorer out of high school, but has had to take on that point guard role.
I'd say she was a scorer, over 2,500 points in high school. She's the Big East preseason freshman of the year, showing that versatility, being able to run the show for this Eagles squad, Golden Eagles squad.
Another successful trip on the offensive end. Van Clunen with her 4th point of the game. Quick ball movement here by the Friars, and Van Clunen is going to get called for the foul as Alyssa Geary trying to post up.
Yeah, Geary has great mobility at 6'4". You mentioned that with Baskerville. Alyssa Geary can shoot the three. Just a sophomore, really emerging as one of the leaders for this Providence team.
Couple of changes now for both sides. Chanel Williams checking out. Fatima Lee checking in for Providence. for Marquette, having just checked in. Claire Kafis and Cameron Taylor. Those are two players in particular that Coach Duffy talked to us about that she'd like to step up here this afternoon. Orlando off the window, too strong. And tied up for the rebound with Taylor. Possession arrow, however, favoring Marquette. Orlando provides so many of those intangible qualities, a good leader on the floor, does a lot of those little things. Not necessarily showing up in huge ways on the stat sheet, but certainly one of those tremendous glue type of players.
Yeah, shoots at 48% from the floor. So in addition to all the intangibles she brings, Coach Crowley said we actually want her to shoot the basketball more.
Kayla Webb coming up with the steal that time as she read the play off of Lott. Here's Scott trying to get to the baseline, trips on her way in. Fatima Lee now slings it over for Scott. Left it a little bit short there as defensive pressure from Altia Anderson. Marquette now back the other way. Here's Anderson up top for Spingola. And we have a whistle away from the ball. It's going to be a 3-second violation on Marquette. Brings us to a break in the action here in Providence. We'll be back with more right here on the Big East Digital Network presented by SoFi.
Big cities. Big names. Big legacies. Big sisters and brothers. Big ideas. Big expectations. Big stage. Big results. That's the Big East way.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
.25 left in the first quarter here in Providence. Mike Mancuso alongside Pam Roker, and we've talked a little bit about the leadership issues, maybe a little lack of leadership for the Friars, but there's one of their leaders from a season ago.
I'll tell you what, Maddie Joel helping out today with the stats for Jen Reinerson, but one of the toughest clutch players Jim Crowley's ever coached. She really did provide that leadership along with the great talent on the floor, along with Yo-Yo Nogic. One of the things Coach Crowley said, listen, we're looking for that leader to emerge. He really thinks it's going to be Mary Baskerville. She's got all of the signs pointing in that direction, but quite a loss for this Friars team. What a career for that young lady.
Absolutely. And, you know, in talking with Coach Crowley earlier today, talking about some of the confidence issues for the team, and a lot of in part that, you know, sophomores and juniors really having to deal with some new adversities, and they can't lean on players like Yo-Yo Nogic and Maddie Jolin, and that's where the leadership emergence of maybe a Mary Baskerville or somebody else on that bench or on the floor right now for the Friars is so crucial in this second half of the season. So the Friars trailing by 4 will have possession here as we continue along from Friartown. Olivia Orlando, who looks much better now in gameplay than she did in the warm-up. She injured her ankle against DePaul. Here's Alyssa Geary. Geary, that high dribble trying to work inside the paint. Swings it outside for Lee. She pumps up the 3 and gets it to go.
Good looking shot by the freshman.
Fatima Lee from downtown, and the Friars within 1.
Part of that New York City connection Coach Crowley loves. 4 players from New York. He loves the grittiness and the toughness they bring. That time she brought a great looking jumper as well.
Lee now 4 of 10 on the season from beyond the arc, and we're having a traveling violation against Anderson. So the Friars now trying to build some momentum here in the second part of this first quarter.
Well, tempo, even though both teams struggling to put the ball in the basket, this is advantage Providence College. Coach Duffy telling us, Mike, we don't want a game in the 40s and 50s, tempo and pace. We want to make sure we can keep that up. But right now, Providence starting to get into a little bit of a flow offensively.
Well, one of the issues that's really plagued Marquette all season long has been turnovers. They've already got 5, something that Coach Duffy knows she's going to expect over the course of the season. But something they've been trying to work on limiting is Erlette Scott can't connect on the inside. Anderson races it up ahead. Now coming over for the handle is Claire Kafis, the freshman from Shawnee, Kansas. Spingola now back for Anderson. And around it goes for Kafis. They look inside. Quick turnaround from Taylor won't go. Altia Anderson, though, such a presence on the boards, able to keep that one alive.
Great hustle by that senior. Part of the 5 core members that were returners for Coach Duffy and her staff. She so highly praises those veterans and the job they've done adjusting to the new system, and certainly Anderson, the job she's done on the boards.
And not just adjusting, but fully buying into the system. She said that was so important from those early meetings early on with the returning players. You know, you're welcoming in 6 freshmen, but you had 5 kind of core returners, and all of them immediately bought into what she was selling for this program. So the Friars, after another foul on Marquette, will take over, a chance to take their first lead of the game. Erlette Scott directing traffic now for Webb. Webb, who early on in the season, one of the best 3-point shooters, not just in the Big East, but in the nation.
Yeah, Mike, look at the size differential right now. Providence with a little bit smaller guards on the court.
Scott, though, coming up empty from the perimeter. 3-point shot has become a little bit more part of her game as of late. Here's Spingola, little pull-up jumper, left it short. Nice rebound that time. Chloe Murata getting it done. A good cut to the hoop that time from King, and a deft touch underneath.
Yeah, that was a nice look. Good movement to an open spot. Great instincts.
Lee now picked up by Spingola. Final 2 minutes of the first quarter. Marquette has led all the way thus far. It's been a low-scoring affair. Points so hard to come by so far today.
No uncontested shots for the Friars.
Marquette so stingy on the fence, something that Coach Crowley was concerned about. Here's Kayla Webb. And again, the second time in this quarter, Marquette forcing the shot clock violation.
Have to have awareness on the court. Guard play, they have to take charge. They're your coach on the floor. Great job by the Golden Eagles. Coach Crowley going to look to make that correction certainly at the end of this quarter.
Well, he did so right there. 4 players in. Baskerville, Sophia Widmeyer, Chanel Williams returns, as does Kira Spiewak. Close out this first quarter. Again, Baskerville playing with 1 foul. Got to be careful. Van Clunen, 3-second violation, and good footwork that time from Mary Baskerville.
Well, and you said it. The only thing that hampers Mary Baskerville is foul trouble, Mike. She's only on the floor about 19 minutes a game. She put up 20 points against DePaul on Friday night in only 19 minutes. If she can get more disciplined on that defensive end, that's going to be a real bonus for this Providence squad.
Wild passes here by the Friars, but Geary able to keep it in. Here's Williams now, curling around to Spiewak. Scoop shot underneath and in.
Well, that was a great drive. She just kept going. Marquette had been doing such a terrific job with help side defense. No lanes to the basket at all.
Van Clunen, though, on the other end, just weaving around defenders and finishing with the left hand. She's got 6 points on the day. Friars looking to answer here. Shot clock off. Williams will back it out. It's Coach Crowley calling the play from the bench. Final 6 seconds of the quarter. Williams in some trouble, had pulled up her dribble, and a nice defensive play there by Murata to knock it out of play with just 1.2 seconds left. Friars a little bit unorganized in that sequence. And now Altia Anderson, number 3 in the Big East and blocks, 22 on the season, back in to help defend with Baskerville. And the Friars are not going to get a shot off there. Had 3 chances there towards the end, just couldn't get one up. And through the first 10 minutes, it's Marquette with a 10-7 edge. We'll be back with more right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men, for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
And welcome back once again to Mulaney Gym here at Alumni Hall. End of the first quarter, Marquette out to a 10-7 lead. And, 10 points in a quarter, that's not a lot by any standards. And, Providence, one of the best in the Big East defensively so far in this early part of the season. In fact, they are number one in points allowed. Their defensive scoring, just 58.1 points per game that they're allowing.
It's a trademark of every single Jim Crowley team, Mike. They just really commit to that end. It's about defending well, defending with energy, and it's really about positioning. It's being where you need to be before you need to be there. They really protect the paint. It's a pack line defense. They just make a commitment on that end of the floor, and that effort and energy is something that he says, when we get that, I'm never going to be disappointed. Friars working hard on that end right now. They're also going to have to pay some attention to this offensive end, because the Golden Eagles are showing some pretty lockdown defense of their own.
I was just going to say, for as well as they played on the defensive end here so far this afternoon, the offense just not quite getting it done. Friars just 3 of 11 in that first quarter. Deflection there from King, but into the arms of Geary. Friars put it up. Spiewak from downtown, and they're going to get a foul on Narelle Lubo. And you never want to foul that three-point shooter.
Well, that's an untraditional inside-out look. Mary Baskerville recognized she was behind the backboard, a double team, able to wrap it around to Spiewak on the baseline. 3 big free throws.
Spiewak the best on the Friars in terms of free throw shooting. Of course, she misses there. Just her second miss of the season. As the Friars as a team have struggled at the line. Here's another look at how Spiewak earned that trip to the line. Does convert on the second. Free throw shooting, the Friars 8th in the Big East, and it gets even worse in Big East play. Friars just 44% from the line in their first 3 games.
Yeah, last in the Big East. Got to find a way to win. Those points so critical. Critical at home, but especially on the road. That's going to be something they certainly work to improve.
So 2 out of 3 from Spiewak makes it a 1-point game. Here's Murata leaving it over for Spingola. Jumper no good, and Geary able to sneak in for the rebound. She'll race it up the floor. Here's Sophia Widmeyer, who's been earning more time since Big East play has kicked on. Williams surveys the scene, now tries to direct some traffic. Friars have already had multiple shot clock violations, and that has just been tremendous defense out of Marquette. Baskerville looking for Williams, not a three-point shooter, puts it up and makes it.
Wow, that was deep too. Baskerville tiptoeing on the baseline, able to kick it out for the 3.
A rarity for sure, just her 3rd made three-pointer of the season. The first in Big East play for Chanel Williams. And the Friars with their first lead of the game. crowd getting into it here in Alumni Hall. Murata putting it on the floor. Leaves it out now, King. And that one was definitely altered by Williams. Williams, one of those players who feeds off the energy of the crowd. When she makes a big play, it just gets her going.
Well, she's a competitor. Again, that New York City attitude. One of the quickest players in the Big East. Still working on developing consistency with the outside shot, although we saw her hit the big three.
Widmeyer in some trouble. Gets it to Baskerville. Slick move and finish that time by Mary Baskerville.
Nice savvy and a good look by Widmeyer. You mentioned Widmeyer getting her chance Friday night. She put up 9 points in only 10 minutes. That could really add to the depth for Coach Crowley.
Tic-tac-toe passing that time. Murata able to finish for Marquette. Back to a 2-point lead for the Friars. Friars outscoring Marquette 7-2 here in the second quarter. Spiewak looking inside for Baskerville. Geary as well. Puts it up. Couldn't get it to go. Some nice defense again from Chloe Murata. King with some speed. Leaves it on the outside now for Lubo. And a couple steps through the lane and in.
5'10 freshman Norel Lubo. Averages about 14 minutes a game.
Again, Coach Duffy trying to get some of these younger players more minutes, especially in Big East play. Realizing she's going to need them down the stretch for sure as she builds her program. Baskerville off the feed from Geary, and too easy that time for the Friars.
Tell you what, the two sophomores work well together, don't they? Great interior look, and I love that pass. She kept it high for Baskerville. No chance for a Golden Eagle to get a hand on it.
And Baskerville at 6'3", Geary at 6'4", the Twin Towers for the Friars, and another 3-second violation. That's the third by my count on Marquette, as both teams making wholesale changes.
You know, depth's so important when you play the Friday, Sunday format. Coach Duffy talked about adjusting to that. Talked about the travel partner, Marquette playing at Creighton, a tough loss on Friday night. You need to be able to go 8-9 deep at least to keep the legs fresh at this level of intensity.
Yeah, certainly one of the roughest road trips of the season when you have that road Creighton and in Providence matchup. DePaul facing the other end of that today, heading out to Creighton for an afternoon contest. Here's Webb off the glass and a lot of contact, sending Webb to the ground and to the free throw line for the first time today.
Another look at Webb. She's been quiet today. One of the best scorers for the Friars.
She's led them in minutes throughout the season, almost 30 per game. Also their leader in steals with 25 coming into today. Strong free throw shooter as well, now over 80% on the season.
A real confident performer. We saw that from her freshman year, almost from the minute she took the court. Really made a strong contribution. Coach working on the defensive end, trying to challenge her on this end as well, but one of the best scorers for the PC squad.
Yeah, over 11 points a game for Kayla Webb, who just knocked down her first two. On the other side, though, Taylor. Tough shot off the glass, but gets it to go.
See why they're so excited about Cameron Taylor. Good strength, just a rookie.
Speaking of rookies, there's a good take from Heaven Bristow, but just couldn't get it through the hoop. Selena Lott, who's been relatively quiet so far today, finds Taylor. She'll take it right at Bristow, the pair of freshmen battling each other. A loose ball picked up by Webb, 2-on-1 if they hurry. Webb pulls up for the jumper, too strong, and Lott there for the rebound. Selena Lott now will call out the next play here for Marquette. Anderson working against Bristow, looks inside for King, who's posted up on Webb. And a good realization of the matchup that time. King earning a trip to the line.
Yeah, good example of the 5-inch differential. Jordan King able to get good position down low.
King, one of the more highly touted freshmen in the Big East. Obviously the Big East preseason freshman of the year. But again, adjusting to her role as more of a point guard, at least for this season, for Coach Duffy. First one is good, and Marquette back within one now. King up to 3 points on the day. Comes in averaging just under 10. Second one good as well. We're knotted up one more time as Alyssa Geary returns to the floor. And Spiewak checks out. So the Friars gaining a little size here with that trade-off. As Erlette Scott runs the point this time down the floor.
Erlette Scott's been playing really well. Coach Crowley talked about how well she's passing the ball. She's added the three-point shot to her arsenal.
Bristow a little spinorama, but can't get it to drop in.
Not many second chance opportunities for the Friars.
Selena Lott losing the handle, but then gaining it back. They look inside for Taylor, back outside for Lott. And the pass that time wound up in the hands of Destiny Strother, the freshman from Flint, Michigan. Was able to draw some contact. She'll have a couple of free throws coming up. But first, timeout on the floor, and we'll step aside as well. Knotted up at 18 in Friartown. We'll be back with more on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
Big cities. Big names. Big legacies. Big sisters and brothers. Big ideas. Big expectations. Big stage. Big results. That's the Big East way.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
Just past the midway point of the second quarter, Friars and Golden Eagles knotted up at 18. Mike Mancuso alongside Pam Roker. And Pam, we're looking over some of the stats here during that last break. One thing that's got to stand out has been the rebounding.
Yeah, rebounding, 4 offensive boards, 15 total for the Golden Eagles. Only 7 rebounds so far for Providence. We've seen really no presence on the offensive glass. Points in the paint are starting to mount as well. Marquette does a nice job scoring the basketball inside. 14 early points inside, really high percentage shots. Friday night at Creighton, 13 of their 62 points for the Golden Eagles were scored in the paint. Something we're going to track for the rest of the show.
Strother off the mark that time. Baskerville going down hard. Webb just unable to keep it in. And so Marquette will have another opportunity. Selena Lott, inbounding duties here. Gets it into King. King through the lane, up and no good. And a foul there on the rebound attempt.
That was nice recognition by Baskerville. That was a set play on the inbounds to set up Jordan King. Baskerville recognized King breaking free. Good awareness, good team defense. And there's another look at the drive.
Good positioning by Baskerville. The foul on Cameron Taylor, who came flying in. Friars a chance to break the deadlock. Chanel Williams will skip it across for Geary. Baskerville looking for that high pass again. You could see her calling for it, and a perfect delivery from Geary.
Alyssa Geary, so deceiving. We've seen her bring the ball up. That time, a great touch pass. Baskerville, amazing hands, soft touch. What a ceiling on this young sophomore in terms of her potential.
Well, this seems to be part of the lineup that's been doing the best job for the Friars today, having both Geary and Baskerville on the floor at the same time. It's certainly presented some different challenges for Marquette.
Well, and they're getting to know each other. A lot of playing time last year together. You can see the chemistry developing. Again, with Baskerville's hands and her quick jumping ability, if you can throw a pass that high, it really keeps it out of the reach of any defender. And that's a high percentage shot.
Baskerville perfect from the floor so far today, as we're going to get another foul on Marquette. This one against Altia Anderson, as Olivia Orlando is trying to work through the lane. Checking back in for Marquette, Chloe Murata, as Anderson heads off. That was her second foul, so Coach Duffy not wanting to take any chances with her situation. Kayla Webb puts up the floater, and another foul on Marquette, and you can see the frustration for Coach Duffy putting her hands on her head, knowing that he didn't need that foul in that situation.
Almost the identical inbounds play, this time breaking Kayla Webb open on the wing.
So Webb back at the line. 2 points so far for the game. Connects for number 3. And the Friars on top by 3.
Webb has started every game for the Friars.
Member of last year's All Big East rookie team, and misses on that one, with the Friars still with their largest lead of the day so far. And keep in mind, Marquette led this one by 3 at the end of the first quarter.
See Webb picking up King a little bit in the half court. Coach Crowley talked to us about extending the defense to make Jordan King work bringing the ball up.
King able to get it over to Murata. Spingola leaves it outside. King for 3, and that's the first three-pointer of the game for Marquette. A big one as it ties things up again at 21.
Yeah, great looking shot. Providence has struggled to get over screens on the ball.
Quick passing here by the Friars. Williams getting into some trouble, kicks it out for Webb. Plenty of time on the shot clock for Orlando. Trying to get into the lane now, kicks it out for Williams. Off the glass, too strong. Murata, the quick outlet for Lott. Lott right to the rim, taking it at Orlando. No chance for Orlando to get her feet set that time, and Lott will be at the line shooting 2.
Lott's an excellent free throw shooter, really developing that scorer's mentality. Nobody stopped the basketball. It's a good decision to take it all the way to the rack.
Lott's been consistent. 15 points per game in the non-conference and in Big East play as well. Of course, misses on the first free throw. And misses on the second. So again, Lott at just 2 points so far today. A little bit of a slow start for her. Strong steal that time from Murata, reading the pass intended for Geary. And a traveling violation on Murata, as getting back was Williams to make up for the turnover.
Murata's a player that bleeds blue and gold, according to Coach Duffy. How about this, Mike? Her brother played for the Golden Eagles and is on their staff right now for men's basketball. Her dad and her grandfather also suited up for Marquette. Not much of a decision, I guess, for that young lady who's going to continue her career.
Absolutely. As Baskerville now the first player into double digits. She has 10 on a perfect 5 of 5 shooting so far in the first half. And again, she's been able to limit the foul trouble, keeping her on the floor. Coach Crowley saying if they can get just about 5 more minutes from her, they would be in business. But Jordan King, again, showing the range from beyond the arc.
Yeah, the range and good decision making. Take what the defense gives you, able to stop right behind the screen. and hit that open three-pointer.
So Marquette back on top. Baskerville able to take advantage of Van Clunen falling down. Baskerville with 12, and the Friars back up by 1. Lott hounded by Orlando. Now Murata. And a miscommunication as zigging instead of zagging was Van Clunen. Leads to another turnover. Number 9 for the game for the Golden Eagles.
Widmeyer coming in for Speedwack. Coach Crowley talking to her probably about that defensive execution. You've got to know the scouting report. You can't go behind a screen on King. She's too dynamic a shooter.
Skip pass for Widmeyer. Gets past Lott, lays it in for 2. And the Friars lead by 3 with just over a minute left in the half.
Coach Crowley so proud of Sophia Widmeyer. Said she shows up every day, works hard, and listens. She got her chance Friday night against DePaul. It looks like she's getting some other big minutes here today.
1 minute to go here in the second quarter. Van Clunen denied, and a late call on the foul. Geary thought she got it clean, and not in the eyes of the official.
We've seen Marquette go to some sets that really have a lot of screen action on the ball. That time it's what we call a dive. So the screen set, Van Clunen just releases. Geary a little bit late and from behind.
Might have got her on the head too as well as Van Clunen went in, but chance now for the Golden Eagles with the clock stopped. First one is good. Van Clunen now up to 7 points on the afternoon. Again, their leader in Big East play with 15.5 per game.
One of those core players again. Coach Duffy just raved about yesterday. So proud of their transition to the new staff and how they've embraced this opportunity to start. And in Van Clunen's case, Mike, she's the leading scorer.
Yeah, certainly was so ebullient about how well they have transitioned from one coaching staff to another. Here's Williams, 4 on the shot clock, takes a tumble, somehow didn't travel. And there's a travel on Orlando.
There's a good no call by the official. Williams, just like you said, a little bit out of control, lost her balance.
Now Marquette can hold for the final shot to retake the lead here. Lott will hold on. Orlando will stare her down.
Look at the matchup right now. Chanel Williams on Spingola.
King pulled up her dribble. Around it comes for Lott, taking it. That's a push-off. Or a travel, so I think Lott fortunate. She definitely had that arm into the midsection of Geary. Instead gets called for the travel. Either way, the Friars now will have a chance for the final shot of the half with 7.3 ticks left. Similar situation end of the first quarter. They couldn't get the shot off. What will they do this time? Williams, the pull-up, and rattles just off the side of the rim. But the Friars will head into the locker room. 20 minutes in the books, a 1-point lead for the home side. As Marquette trailing 27-26. Time for us to step aside for just a few moments. We'll be back with more from Providence right here on the Big East Digital Network presented by SoFi.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
And welcome back to Alumni Hall in Providence. The Friars up by 1 on Marquette at the break. Time to check out an interview, though. Earlier this week, Megan Caffrey was able to sit down with Jalen Agnew from Creighton.
Now, welcome into Big East Fast Break. Creighton senior forward and the Big East Player of the Week, Jalen Agnew. Jalen, your team is off to a 2-0 start in Big East play, and you won both of those games on the road. How crucial is it to get road victories right at the start of conference play?
Yeah, it's very crucial. You know, this season in the Big East is going to be very competitive, and so we knew we had to start out strong, and so getting those 2 road victories were a good stepping stone for hopefully the rest of the season.
In your most recent game, in your win over Villanova, you scored 31 points. That's the second time this season that you've had a game where you scored at least 30 or more points. When you get into such an offensive rhythm, how would you describe that?
I don't know. It's you kind of can't tell at first. Then all your teammates are hyping you up, and you're like, all right, well, I guess I should just keep going. And so yeah, it's really cool. And like I said, my teammates always hype me up, and so it's fun like hearing from them that you're doing well. And so yeah, so it's been fun.
How are your teammates able to hype you up in your game against Georgetown, where you didn't score the bulk of your points until the second half, where you had 20 of your 23 points?
Yeah, they told me to stay aggressive, them and the coaches. You know, especially from the coaching staff, they're like, you know, sometimes we need you to be the one to start our offense, get our offense going. And so just to use that in kind of like an unselfish way, and like when I start to get going, that hopefully everyone else starts to get going as well.
I remember talking to your head coach, Jim Flannery, back at Big East Media Day, and he was saying one of his hopes for you this season is to just have fun. We're 2 games into the conference season, but you've had a lot of basketball that you've played so far. How much fun are you having?
A lot of fun. This is a super fun group. Actually, we started this new thing this year, and so I don't know if you know about the Chicago Bears and how they have their club dub thing after they win, and we kind of started doing our own version of that. And so after every win, we have like lights, and we turn the lights off, and we have our own like strobe lights type thing, and we play music, and we like dance after every win. So that's kind of been super fun to just enjoy every win, especially like we've had a couple ugly ones, like Flan has said. And so just to, you know, wins are hard to come by, and so to get those wins and just enjoy it and keep that going.
Whose idea was it to start that?
Actually Olivia Elgers, because she's from Chicago, and so she knew all about that, and so she's like, I think it'd be a super fun thing to do. So she took it to the coaches, and they thought it was awesome, and so we've been doing that so far, and it's been super fun.
Jalen, you're one of 3 seniors on the team this season. You also lead your team in scoring. How would you describe your leadership and your ability to really, when all of your teammates are relying on you?
Yeah, our coaches talked to me about being more of a vocal leader, and I'm not so great at that. I like to lead more by action, kind of. And so I think that's where I've done better at. It would be the action and kind of, you know, like Olivia's great at the vocal lead, and so is Temi. And so they kind of take that side of it, and I'm more of like the leading by action type thing. And so that's kind of where I kind of started my leadership, I would say.
I love that, Jalen. Thank you very much for joining me, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
Big cities. Big names. Big legacies. Big sisters and brothers. Big ideas. Big expectations. Big stage. Big results. That's the Big East way.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
And we welcome you back inside Alumni Hall at the half here in Providence. Friars with a 27-26 lead. Time to take a look at how we got there with some of the highlights from the first half. Early on, the Friars trying to work it inside. No surprise for Mary Baskerville. Finished with 12 points on 6 of 6 shooting from the field. Lauren Van Clunen doing work on the other end for Marquette. She would finish with 8 points in the first half. Fatima Lee only in for 4 minutes, but hit a big three-pointer, the first 3-ball of the game. And then slashing in, Jordan King off the window for Marquette to close the gap.
Yeah, we saw Providence struggle a little bit early offensively. Kira Spiewak able to get all the way to the rim, the junior. Van Clunen, we talked about her leading scorer. She can play back to the basket that time. Good movement without the basketball. Chanel, I'll tell you what, Chanel Williams, strong half, solid half. That was her only shot of the half, but that was a big three at a key time. Lubo, one of those freshmen, Coach Duffy, so high about in a rare miscue on the defensive end as the Friars let her get right to the rim. And Widmeyer, that sophomore, starting to play some key minutes, and we see her athleticism and scoring ability.
And now time to take a look at some of the key stats from the first half as well. A lot of points in the paint. Providence winning that battle 16-14. And both teams starting to shoot a little bit better as the game went on.
Yeah, both teams really shot well in the second quarter. They were both over 50%. We'll see if they can continue to warm up, putting the ball in the basket. You look at rebounding advantage, Marquette, but turnover-wise, as you mentioned, it had been an Achilles heel for Coach Duffy's squad. They'll look to take care of the basketball and three-point shooting. Very efficient by the Friars. Only 2 for 8 for Marquette. We'll see if they can heat up from beyond the arc besides Jordan King.
Time for us to step aside once again. We'll be back with more from Providence right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt. We don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
And we welcome you back once again to Alumni Hall in Providence. At the half, the Friars leading by 1. And earlier this week, the basketball world lost a very important member as David Stern, the former commissioner of the NBA, passed away. The Big East releasing this statement. This is a moment of profound grief in the sports industry and the basketball world as we mourn a titan, an innovator, a perfectionist, a taskmaster, a role model, a mentor, and most of all, a dear friend. David Stern revolutionized what it means to be a sports league and a sports leader in an age that demands global awareness, technological savvy, and a grasp of social currents in all their forms. We will sorely miss his boundless energy, his unquenchable intellectual curiosity, and his irrepressible habits of asking hard questions, never backing down, and always speaking his mind. Those of us who have given our lives to the game of basketball owe it to David for taking the sport to heights Dr. Naismith never could have imagined. He was the commissioner's commissioner, and it was an honor beyond words to work at his side and to learn continuously from him for 3 unforgettable decades. The Big East Conference extends its deepest condolences to Diane, Andrew, and Eric, and everyone in the extended Stern and Bach families during this immensely sad time. That was Val Ackerman, the Big East Conference Commissioner. And Pam, I know you have some additional thoughts on what Stern meant to basketball.
Well, yeah, and from a WNBA perspective, his support was recognized this week by WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, where she talked about his advocacy. And you know, WNBA even touches these two teams when you think of Coach Duffy and her experience playing for the Lynx and the New York Liberty. And Natisha Heidemann, one of those 5 seniors that graduated last year, had the amazing opportunity to play for the Connecticut Sun. They went all the way to the title this year, lost in the championship game, but David Stern, well known for his support of the WNBA, is certainly as much as he did for the NBA.
Absolutely, a huge loss for the basketball world. So time for us to step aside once again. We'll be back with more from Friartown. The second half coming up next right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
And welcome back to Alumni Hall. Mike Mancuso alongside Pam Roker. Is just moments away from the start of the second half. The Friars with a 1-point edge. And Pam, what do you think these two coaches were telling their squads there at the break?
Well, one of the keys Jim Crowley gave us coming into today's game was on the defensive end, creating traffic. You talked about points in the paint. They want to contest every shot, make it difficult for Marquette to score. For Coach Duffy, one of the things she talked about was that tempo and pace. She was worried about a game in the 40s and 50s, so advantage Providence right now. Look for Marquette to try to score the basketball a little quicker, try to get the pace of the game more to their liking.
Certainly Providence kind of imposing their will and pace in that first half, limiting Marquette to just those 26 points. Marquette will have the opening possession here in the road yellow uniforms, moving from left to right across your screen. Selena Lott, who was relatively quiet in the first half, as they work it to Anderson on the inside, can't convert. And it's Olivia Orlando, who did not start the game, but has played significant minutes.
Well, and there's that size by Gary altering that shot. The 6'4" frame just gives that offensive player something to think about that time. Anderson had a good look.
It's been a close game throughout. Friars looking for Baskerville on the inside. Pass ricocheting off of her to Spingola. Van Clunen And we're going to get a foul or travel. Looks like we're going to have a foul on the Friars. It's going to go on Baskerville, so she picks up her second foul. So much like she did at the beginning of the first quarter, where she had one in the first minute and a half, gets one in the first 49 seconds, and Coach Crowley immediately pulls her off the floor. Van Clunen, a wild one, gets her own rebound, and then drew the contact that comes up a little bit gimpy as she got hit across the face.
Van Clunen, good stick-to-itiveness. Coach Duffy talked about her high praise as an old school player, very fundamentally sound.
Actually calls her Miss Fundamentals.
Yeah.
It's really leaned upon her as one of the leaders this year. And Van Clunen certainly delivering, especially in Big East play early on. She now has 9 points, just behind the 10 put up by Jordan King. And with that one, ties King for the team lead today. The Friars now trailing by 1, with Orlando pulling up in the lane, and a 3-second violation was just in there too long.
That was another key Coach Duffy gave us. Know the personnel. That time, nobody left their perimeter offensive player. No opportunity to kick that basketball back outside.
Yeah, noting that Providence has very distinct shooters, very distinct drivers. And to just know your matchup when you're on the floor. And perfect example of that defensively there for Marquette.
That was a good discipline set.
And Widmeyer absolutely shoving Althea Anderson. Doesn't get much more obvious than that. And you get both arms extended. So fresh 20 seconds now for Marquette. And Coach Crowley not happy with what he's seeing right now. He's going to call timeout to talk things over. And we will step aside as well with 8:44 left in the third quarter. We'll be back with more right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
8:44 left in the third quarter. Coach Crowley was forced to call timeout. The Friars already picking up 3 personal fouls in the first minute and 16 seconds here of the quarter, and are now trailing by 1.
Well, we talk about the bar being really high on the defensive end. It's a trademark of the program, a lot of accountability. Coach not liking the early start to this third quarter in terms of execution.
There's Selena Lott leaving it over for Spingola. 3 ball is good. Big momentum shifter there from Izzy Spingola.
Great tempo on that offensive set coming out of the timeout.
4-point lead matches the largest of the day for either side. As Alyssa Geary now matched up with Van Clunen. Baskerville still remains on the bench with 2 personals. Williams for Geary. Geary trying to take Van Clunen, and does.
Tell you what, that looked like pretty good defense initially, forcing Geary a little bit further away for the runner.
First 2 points of the game for Alyssa Geary, who's had to absorb a lot of those minutes with Baskerville on the bench throughout the season. King making the one-handed grab, but traveling in the process as the Friars collapsing in defensively on her. Kayla Webb and Kira Spiewak return with Williams and Widmeyer checking out now for Providence.
Yeah, Providence got lucky on that possession. You really need to communicate. You can see the Marquette offense starting to move, starting to cut from different locations, some different sets.
Spiewak going to work against King. Now up top for Geary, who does have three-point range. It's been a little bit off so far this season, but last year certainly displayed a lot of it over the course of the season. Geary, little turnaround, and tapped out of bounds by Cooper.
Not a good set for Providence offensively. Coach doesn't want the ball being held, and he certainly doesn't want it being dribbled. He talks about passing, ball reversal, spacing, paint touches. None of that happened on that last series.
Spingola now trying to penetrate. Leaves it off for Van Clunen. Jumper denied by Geary, but that's because she got a piece of Van Clunen. And that'll be foul number 2 on Geary. And actually her third. A little delay on the scoreboard here in Providence, but that's a key moment for the Friars as Baskerville checks back in.
And part of the defensive scheme for the Friars is to play behind in the low post. They three-quarter until they catch. They play behind thinking we're going to make you shoot it over us that time. Geary too aggressive on the shot block.
And Van Clunen making them pay as well with the free throws. Now back to a 4-point lead for Marquette. Friars again facing some adversity. Errant pass as Spiewak wasn't looking. King then tripped inadvertently by Webb, but she slowed up just a second there to pick up the loose ball. And the Friars in a little bit of disarray here to start the third quarter. Had some issues against DePaul on Friday night as well. Were scoreless in the opening 6 minutes of that quarter and saw the lead for the Blue Demons go from 6 to 18.
You know, Coach was talking about that, trying to eliminate those gaps, looking for 40 minutes of effort. Even when the ball's not going in the basket, he talked about you've got to grind it out, trust the defense. Shots are going to fall, but certainly you don't want those unforced turnovers.
Van Clunen outworking 3 Friars for the rebound off the missed free throw. Mark that one down as a bonus possession here, but Spingola tossing it off the back of Lott. Lott never saw it.
Lott was open. Spingola just delivered too late.
So the Friars dodge a bullet there, as it certainly could have added a few more points to the Marquette total. And the Golden Eagles with a 5-point edge have outscored the Friars 8-2 here so far in the third. Kira Spiewak working against King, now has Cooper. Skips it along for Webb.
That size, sorry, Mike, that size a lot. Webb can't get the pass off. Baskerville was open.
Bristow, the turnaround, rattles in and out. Altia Anderson now, ahead for King. And King losing the handle out of bounds. Good pressure that time by Andrea Cooper. Again, those are some of those turnovers that Coach Duffy realizes she's just going to have to live with over the course of the season without a true point guard and a very young side. Van Clunen will get a rest for a little bit as Murata checks in. Kayla Webb finds herself open for 3, rims it out. King able to get to the rebound.
Oh, that was a good look by Webb.
Lott spins it on over. Spingola for 3. Short. Anderson and Baskerville getting tangled up. And play continues. Things a little helter-skelter the last 30 seconds or so. Baskerville, little turnaround, and she remains perfect on the day. 7 of 7 from the field.
Great footwork on the square up.
Lott for 3, though. Big time shot that time for the junior from East Greenbush, New York.
Now the pace has picked up.
This is more of the tempo that Marquette would like to see. as Baskerville able to draw some contact with Altia Anderson. That'll just be the first team foul for Marquette here in the second half, and the first one on Anderson.
Play's getting a little physical in the post, the Anderson-Baskerville matchup.
Checking back in now for Marquette, Cameron Taylor to give Anderson a break. Kayla Webb able to get it into Baskerville. Now Webb into the corner for Spiewak. Three-pointer was altered by Lott. Might have been partially blocked. Lott now, the penetration and the stutter step down the lane as she just couldn't elevate as she was tracked by Spiewak.
She's quick, isn't she, though, off the bounce?
Well, one thing Coach Duffy really harped on was the fact of Selena Lott just being such an explosive player, so great at changing speeds, and there was the perfect example right there.
Well, as developing the scorer's mentality, you can see her trying to really take over offensively.
Speaking of trying to take over offensively, Mary Baskerville keeping the Friars in this one for now. Able to draw the contact. We'll head to the line. She'll do that when we return as a break in the action. Timeout on the floor here in Providence. We'll be back with more right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
Big cities. Big names. Big legacies. Big sisters and brothers. Big ideas. Big expectations. Big stage. Big results. That's the Big East way.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead. We got to raise it up.
Just past the midway point of the third quarter. Marquette outscoring the Friars 11-4 right now in this frame. Mary Baskerville a chance to get the Friars back 2 more points here from the line, but for right now the Friars kind of searching for some answers.
They're searching for some balanced scoring as well. You've got Baskerville with a really amazing job, perfect from the floor like you mentioned. No other Friar more than 4 points though, Mike. They're really searching for that balance.
Second one from Baskerville also good, looking very good on those 2 strokes. Free throws have been a problem for her this season. Was at just 39% from the line in Big East play coming into today, but looking very strong and confident on those 2.
That could be a big key down the stretch. Close game, it's got that feel.
Oh, Van Clunen took her eyes off of Webb for a second as she was worried about Baskerville. And Webb able to come up with the steal. Lott nearly able to return the favor, and they're gonna say that Kayla Webb stepped on the sideline after she was being harassed by Lott.
Great job in transition by the Golden Eagles. Another look. Again, Webb giving up about 5 inches to the taller Lott.
It's turnover number 11 for the Friars. Marquette with 15 so far today. Spingola, tough pass, unable to be handled for Van Clunen. Friars now quickly the other way. Spiewak, a reset for a moment. A little handoff for Webb. Webb finding the seam in the D and lays it off the glass.
Great spacing that time by the Friars. Marquette really extended. What do you give up? Open lanes to the basket.
Back to a 2-point game. Marquette 5 turnovers in the last 3 minutes. After they built their largest lead at 6. Spingola for 3, short. Van Clunen the rebound in between Baskerville and Bristow. And then poked out of bounds by the Friars, as Marquette will get Jordan King back into the game. Is Spingola a little bit of a rest?
Yeah, Izzy Spingola had a great look that time. She's got deep range, couldn't get it to fall. Van Clunen cleans up the offensive glass. Second chance opportunity.
Friars, who came into the day #1 in the Big East in three-point percentage at 38%, have converted on just 2 of 5. As Marquette looking strong on the inside again. Fatima Lee played 4 minutes in the first half, had a big 3-pointer. Just works it around for Webb. Spiewak finds Baskerville, she goes to work. Up, and her first miss of the day. And then a foul on the Friars. As behind the action, Heaven Bristow. And that'll be 2 shots coming up the rest of the way in this quarter for Marquette.
Baskerville went to the left hand. Van Clunen denied her going right. That was part of the scouting report. Coach Duffy told us they picked up on that.
Yeah, a big part of the game plan today. Try to contain Mary any way they can. Keep her off that right hand. Spiewak out, Olivia Orlando back in. Lott at the line, shooting 2. Lott now with 6 points for the game. Just 1 of 3 from the field so far today. 3 rebounds, 5 assists as well. Connects on that one, and the lead up to 6, matching the largest of the game. Fatima Lee. Had to pull up her dribble in the lane. Baskerville now for Webb. Kicks it out for Orlando. Baskerville slicing in and able to draw contact. Sure she'd like to have that one back for the layup, but we'll have a chance to get it done at the line.
Orlando's got such great recognition. She's an excellent passer, good vision that time, but credit Mary Baskerville for cutting to the open spot, Mike. I just feel like that's a part of her game that's really developed. The movement without the basketball this year, it seems like she's really continuing to grow.
Yeah, really a nice speed burst that time from Baskerville. She was on the perimeter, and all of a sudden she's inside the lane for the layup attempt. 1 of 2 that time as Baskerville will get a quick break here. Nyaja Franklin checking in, the lone senior on the team this year. Selena Lott will work it up the floor. And again, split a little bit of time at the point guard position, King and Lott this season. Here's King on the outside, jacks up the 3, won't go. And Bristow fighting for the rebound with Lubo. Tied up, but possession in favor of the Friars. Strong play that time by the freshman from Brooklyn, New York. Coach Crowley happy about that play. Friars down by 5. Webb calls out the play. Interesting lineup here for the Friars without Geary or Mary Baskerville on the floor.
Yeah, Friars going deeper into their bench as well.
Bristow trying to get it done. He's going to be fouled by Murata. Good take that time by the freshman. We've seen her minutes go up as well since Big East play has opened up.
Yeah, Coach really excited about her potential, said she's really learning the physical and mental effort needed when you make that transition to college on a daily basis. But how about this? She averaged not only a double-double in high school, but 20 points and over 20 rebounds as a high school senior.
For sure. Again, adding some more of that New York edge to this Friar squad. Bristow hits both, and it's a three-point game. Selena Lott and the Golden Eagles looking for their first Big East win of the season, and Lott got kind of twisted up there on her way through the lane, came up a little bit gimpy, was trying to work it out underneath the hoop, but definitely favoring that left leg.
I'm going to call Bristow for the foul, trying to bump the cutter. That created that contact on Lott that you referred to.
Now the Friars will get Alyssa Geary back in. Again, has to be careful. 3 fouls already for the sophomore from Elmhurst, Illinois. Baskerville remains on the bench for now for the Friars. Lott a chance to add to her 7-point day. Now 4 of 7 from the line, however, today. Came in as one of the stronger free throw shooters for this Marquette side at 82% on the year. Second one rattles in.
And as the most experienced Marquette player returning, she had 21 starts last year. No surprise that she's developed in as the go-to player.
Fatima Lee worked her way in on the baseline, couldn't convert, back the other way. Now comes Lott with some pace. Murata, the handoff for Lott, won't go. And into the hands of Webb, pushes it forward. Fatima Lee, Lubo checking back with the rejection. And you can see that one developing all the way. Lee had no idea that Lubo was tracking back.
Well, Lubo with some fans in the crowd. She's from North Andover, Massachusetts. Great hustle to get back in the play. No question that was a clean block.
Geary rejected by Murata, was forcing that one all the way, but Webb the steal, the pull-up won't go. And Murata can't hang on to the rebound. Thought she was fouled by Geary. Either way, it's gonna be Friar ball with 1:13 left in the quarter. Althea Anderson returns now, replacing Murata. As this one has been tight all the way through. Geary up top for Franklin. Orlando working against Spingola. Now a kick out for Geary. Already down to 5 on the shot clock. Lee, the turnaround won't go. And Orlando taps it out of bounds. It'll be Marquette ball. Under a minute to play here in quarter number 3. An important game for sure for both teams, looking for their first Big East win, but neither team really hitting the panic button yet this early portion of the schedule. The Friars certainly wanting to take advantage of the home court. Van Clunen takes it up and in.
I'll tell you what, she covered a lot of ground. Very fundamentally sound, as Coach talked about. Good, strong move.
2-second differential, the game clock and shot clock here for the Friars, but they will hold as late into the possession as they can. They seem to have been in this situation at the end of each quarter here today and have come up empty. Here's Webb. And traveled. Another turnover for the Friars. That is their 12th of the day.
Tell you what, Marquette's locked in defensively right now, just really doing a great job preventing any kind of dribble penetration.
Coach Duffy will get Jordan King back in for Lubo.
Little offense-defense substitution.
Final 5 seconds. Lott trying to get to the rim. Won't go, and that is how the quarter will end. Marquette, a 44-38 lead. See what we have in store for the final 10 minutes from here in Providence. We'll be back with more right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
And welcome back once again to Alumni Hall in Providence. Marquette with a 6-point lead. Mike Mancuso alongside Pam Roker. And Pam, hard to believe in just 2 months' time, almost exactly to the date, it'll be time for the Big East Tournament. This year, the Big East Tournament once again will be at the Wintrust Arena in downtown Chicago, presented by Jeep. And that one will take place March 6th through the 9th. Get your tickets at bigeast.com/WBV tickets. Of course, DePaul, the defending champs, on their home floor, edging out this Marquette team in a dramatic finish last year. Who will come out on top this year and win that automatic bid?
All 10 teams qualify for the postseason. A lot of parity in the league this year, although the Blue Demons out in front a little bit. Big game today where they're going to go up against Creighton for some early bragging rights. One of those two teams will stay undefeated. St. John's has an opportunity to move to 4-0 today, Mike. It's the best start for St. John's since the 2012-13 season. And certainly we've got two teams here that would love to make some noise heading into March.
Yeah, DePaul picked #1 in the preseason poll. St. John's #2, and they are meeting expectations as of now. Of course, Marquette, a lot of people didn't know what to make of this team, losing all 5 starters, the 8,000 career points, and their coach were picked 9th, but certainly have been playing well in the early part of the season.
Yeah, they really have. What a smooth transition. Coach Duffy talked about bringing energy, building relationships, certainly had the buy-in from the returning core. 6 of the 7 freshmen signed by Coach Krieger's staff ended up staying. It's a little bit of a chip on the shoulder mentality with that preseason number 9.
I would think so. Now the 18th turnover of the game for Marquette gives it back to the Friars. Baskerville and Geary both on the floor. That's where the Friars have been at their best today. Kayla Webb swings it over for Geary. Baskerville flashing inside, tied up. Now they're going to say fouled that time by Lubo. But again, good high pass from Geary into the post for Mary Baskerville.
Lubo thought she had all ball. That's typically a tough angle on that pass.
Baskerville already 17 points on the day on 7 of 8 shooting from the floor. But the free throw issues starting to creep up again. Baskerville now at 3 of 5 on the day. Second one is good, so back to a 5-point game. But the Friars certainly going to need to start coming up with some defensive stops.
And the Friars not really a pressing team, more of a half-court system defensive team. Should the lead start to mount, that is going to be a little problematic where the Friars don't extend very often.
Spingola for 3, right on cue. Big time shot for the biggest lead of the game now. 8-point margin for the visitors. Williams looking inside again for Baskerville. Rejected by Anderson. And then a foul on the Friars. And going down was Alyssa Geary. That was an odd collision, and she is in some pain, trying to walk it off. Foul was on Baskerville, her 3rd. Geary will have to check out. Widmeyer in. And you can see that was one of those frustration fouls from Baskerville that we'd been talking about earlier in the day. Now Well, unfortunately for Providence, she's usually good for one of those a game.
Yeah, played pretty clean coming into the fourth quarter with only 2 personal fouls.
Spingola looking inside. Here's Anderson. Jumper, no good. Baskerville the rebound. Just her 4th of the day, but a big one. As the Friars needing some points now. Widmeyer.
Watch how disciplined Marquette is. They won't bite on the dribble penetration.
Webb looking inside for Baskerville. Too strong off the glass. Van Clunin on the other end, lays it in for 2. Double-digit lead for the first time today. And again, that pace quickening here, favoring the Golden Eagles. Webb for 3. And how about that shot from the sophomore?
Wow, that was a big one. Kayla Webb, only her 8th point of the day. She's got a beautiful stroke, especially from beyond the arc.
Friars desperately needed that shot. It was just the 6th three-pointer they've attempted today. As Marquette doing a nice job of shutting down the Friar perimeter threats. King left it off the side of the backboard. Baskerville hauled it in, and here comes Williams. Webb for 3 again. She's feeling it, but a little too strong, is tumbling out of bounds off of Mary Baskerville. It'll go to Marquette. Orlando out, Fatima Lee in. And it looks like Baskerville is going to get a quick rest as well, with Geary still getting attended to on the bench by the training staff.
Baskerville got tangled up down low again. Good move taking her out. She and Anderson have been going at it, especially in the second half.
Selena Lott now drops it in for Van Clunin. Lott with the dribble. Anderson, a nice take and in. Talk about acceleration.
Yeah,
Anderson getting around Widmeyer.
Good first step.
Widmeyer looks over her options, has Franklin. Fatima Lee for 3, that won't go. Van Clunin the rebound, now pushes it ahead for King. Friars getting themselves in a little bit of trouble here with just over 6 minutes left. Van Clunin able to take Naija Franklin to school that time, and Coach Crowley forced to call timeout, needs to talk things over and regroup with 6:14 left. Brings us to a break in the action here in Providence. We'll step aside as well with Marquette leading by 11 right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men, for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
Big cities, big names, big legacies, big sisters and brothers, big ideas, big expectations, big stage, big results. That's the Big East way.
Welcome back once again to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall. Friars with some work to do, down by 11. And Pam, scoring has been a bit of an issue for the Friars in Big East play, averaging only 56.3 points per Big East game.
Yeah, 3-point shooting percentage. They were on a blistering pace through the non-conference season, that percentage has continued to fall. And besides Baskerville, they're looking for that consistent number 2 and number 3 scorer. Today we see it. Mary, very efficient from the floor, 7 of 10, 18 points. Kayla Webb up to 8 points, but just not enough threats on the floor when Crowley goes deep into his bench.
So we'll start play here with 6:14 left. Baskerville on the bench, as is Alyssa Geary, and Geary with a huge ice pack on her leg. Went down awkwardly a couple minutes ago. Her status to return, undetermined at this point, but she's doing everything she can to try to get loosened up and back in this one. Friars had been at their best with both her and Baskerville on the floor at the same time.
Well, let's credit the Golden Eagles for turning up the heat defensively.
Asia Franklin just couldn't get the shot off, and finally did, but left it a bit short.
Just no second chance opportunities. Providence really not crashing the offensive boards.
Yeah, now a 35-19 rebounding edge for Marquette. It's continued to grow since the half. Altia Anderson from the baseline, no good. Bristow flying in for the rebound and tied up by Spingola, who was able to get in there. And possession arrow favoring Providence, as they will bring in Baskerville and Kira Spiewak. Out go Franklin and presumably Bristow. No, they're going to take out Williams. So Webb will handle the point for now. Well, Friars need somebody to inbound the ball. Oh, they got Lee. And Lee now will bring it up. 5.5 to go. Fourth quarter. Both teams looking for their first Big East win of the season. They go inside to Baskerville, and once again, able to get that position on Van Clunen. She now has 18 on the day.
You called it deep position. Great job keeping the basketball high, not putting it on the floor.
Excuse me, that was 20 points now for Baskerville, as Kayla Webb able to get back and deflect that one away from Jordan King.
When Baskerville catches it so deep, no double team opportunity for Marquette.
And do a little mop-up action here on the floor. A couple players going down. Marquette up to 18 turnovers on the day. That is about their average for the season. But they've made up for it. Some of their shooting here, especially in the second half. Nice inside look that time for Anderson, and the Friars just caught asleep.
Yeah, Webb and Bristow have to communicate. Both went with the outside threat. Nobody protected the basket.
Long pass inside, deflected away by Anderson. The Friars, Alyssa Geary is going to give it a go. Try to gut this one out, but you could see her hobbling into the game. And what percentage is she at after the tough tumble? In it comes for Lee. Geary sending Baskerville in motion. Baskerville trying to post up against Anderson. The kick out for Spiewak. Little floater, too short. Baskerville the rebound and in.
Wow, great hands, great nose for the basketball.
22 points now to lead all scorers, but the Friars still trail by 9.
She came out of nowhere.
Jordan King. Look inside, Van Clunen. Anderson now. Too strong. And what a rebound by Spignola, and out of bounds. It'll go to the Friars. A gutsy play there by Spingola, but just couldn't grab the handle. Friars need to take advantage here with 4:12 left in the fourth. The team of Lee getting a healthy amount of minutes here down the stretch. Geary pulled up the dribble, looks for Baskerville, and is able to flick it on over to Webb. Baskerville avoiding some danger with the bleachers behind the net, but Friars now at 9 on the shot clock. Lee from the corner, no good, and King the rebound. Marquette now. They'll probably take this a little bit deeper into the possession. Here's Lott. To the rim, no good. Van Clunin the rebound, and she's fouled by take your choice of a Friar. 3 reaching in. We'll see who gets called for the foul.
Van Clunin, nobody got a body on her. Really, she's been relentless on the boards.
If it's Baskerville or Geary, it is their 4th. It's going to go against Geary, her 4th.
You see the sea really parted for Selena Lott.
So Geary checks out. Just a second team foul, so no free throws. Spingola couldn't convert, but Van Clunin there to bail her out. Here's Lott for 3. Won't go, and Baskerville another rebound. She now has 7. Kayla Webb. The Friars trying to mount this comeback, and just a miscommunication that time with Baskerville. Anderson losing the handle. Webb able to gain possession, and Coach Crowley calling timeout to keep possession. Wasn't realizing Webb was about to make an outstanding play. Either way, good defense by Webb and the Friars to gain it back. We're going to keep it here this time. Here's a look at that last turnover.
To have players going to the floor. We talked about both these teams fighting to get their first Big East W. Coach Crowley heads up on that. Not a bad timeout anyway. You want to reset. You want to make sure you get a good shot. Providence has to be productive in this last 3 minutes. They can't afford to trade baskets. Marquette's been able to come up with a key stop every time the Friars threaten, though. We'll see if Providence can get the ball to Mary Baskerville. She's been their most potent offensive weapon today.
Question is, at this point, will that be enough? Settling for inside shots. Might need to try to open things up on the perimeter as well, but the Friars have struggled. Just 3 of 9 today.
Got a couple threats though. Kayla Webb, Kira Spiewak certainly can knock down a 3.
Lee was able to make one earlier today as well.
Golden Eagles not giving up many uncontested shots though.
And that's been the bigger issue. Marquette using its size defensively on some of these Providence guards. Lee looking inside for Baskerville, off the glass and in again. It's been almost unstoppable today. 24 points now for Mary Baskerville. 10 of 13 from the field, but her Friars trail by 7. Spingola and Marquette trying to close out the Friars and get a very tough road victory. King swings it for Spingola. 3 ball is good. What a shot by Izzy Spingola.
Great pass by King. Really wrapped it around. Looked like she was stopped, nowhere to go. Found the open Spingola.
Marquette now 6 of 16 from beyond the arc with some big ones down the stretch. Here's Webb, good look from 3-point land, won't go. Uncontested rebound for Anderson, and just 2 minutes left here for Marquette to close out the game.
Again, Providence really not a pressing team. It's not how they're built.
Anderson right down the lane and in. 12-point edge. Friars in some deep trouble here. Coach Crowley imploring his team to go, go, go. Don't have a lot of time to waste. Need some shots in a hurry. Lee trying to get some space. The fadeaway won't go. And Anderson fouled by Cooper on the rebound. It'll be the 3rd team foul.
Now, Coach Duffy and their staff going to be so proud of this team and their defensive effort. They have really dialed up a great second half. Very few easy looks other than to Baskerville. Contested every shot, great pressure on the ball. And they've owned the boards like you've talked about.
Marquette just over a minute away from their first Big East win under the Megan Duffy coaching staff regime.
Going to get Widmeyer down low.
Again, no free throws, but the next one will produce 2 shots for Marquette if they are fouled. King Van Clunen as they work it around the perimeter. Lott around the horn as they're just taking this one down to the end of the shot clock. Spingola, another three ball, won't go. Lee, the rebound. She'll push the pace. Showing some good speed. Floats it up and rolls just off the edge. Baskerville there. Couldn't get it to go and then hammered out of bounds by Widmeyer. There's a couple more subs now for Marquette. Checking in, Lubo along with Cameron Taylor.
It's a good job by Baskerville to follow up on that play.
Baskerville will check out.
Better opportunity if you go up with the left hand there, Mike. Coach talking to his young sophomore. This team is built around her. Unanimous preseason first team selection.
Again, doing a better job today of staying out of foul trouble for a majority of the game. Obviously, 24 points leading all scorers, but Friars going to need to find a way to get some others involved on the offensive end as a traveling call against Marquette gives it back to the Friars, but Providence, just 29.5 seconds left. Lott checks out. Shot clock off here to close out the game. Around it comes now for Webb. Floats it up and in. A little too late for Providence. As Marquette could hold on here for the win. Indeed, that's what they will do. Hard-fought victory here for the visiting Golden Eagles. Again, a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Picked 9th in the preseason poll and showing people why they are still going to be a player down the stretch here. Marquette improves to 10-4 on the season, 1-2 in Big East play. The Friars fall to 9-7, 0-4 in conference play. Pam, any thoughts from you here as we head into a break?
Well, you talked about Coach Duffy. She stayed patient. They hadn't won a game until today, but she really trusted her team and trusted the process. And for Jim Crowley, defensively, they're going to have to tighten things up and certainly continue to work on the offensive end, not only with their balance, but with their execution.
So time for us to step aside. We'll be back with more from Providence right here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
Big cities. Big names. Big legacies. Big sisters and brothers. Big ideas. Big expectations. Big stage. Big results. That's the Big East way.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
And welcome back once again to Mulaney Gym here inside Alumni Hall in Providence, where Marquette has picked up its first win under the Megan Duffy era. at Marquette, and joined now by head coach Megan Duffy. And Coach, I thought quite a tremendous defensive turnaround, especially in the second half, and you guys started to play more at the pace that you wanted to.
Yeah, I thought the first quarter we defended really well, just couldn't get our offense going, and then was not happy at halftime after that second quarter, giving them 20 points. And we locked back into what are we going to look like the last 20 minutes of the game, and I was really proud of our effort to get the ball inside to Lauren Van Clunen. We kept saying feed the beast. She was hot in there, and then like you said, we got our pace moving a little bit with more possessions, and even though we weren't all the time executing on it, I thought we had a little bit more juice, just a free-flowing game on the offensive side.
Scoring also seemed to pick up for you guys as the game went on. You wound up outscoring Providence 34-23. Again, Van Clunen, a big piece of that today for you guys.
Yeah, I know our upperclassmen were really determined after that loss at Creighton of just trying to put a more complete game together. I thought we had moments where we looked great. We made some mistakes that led to Creighton, getting some easy baskets. So how could we improve with a short turnaround at Providence on the road? This is a tough road trip for us, probably the hardest of the year. And it was a hungry group out there and a focused group, and I love that. With 6 freshmen and 5 returners that are in new roles, to have that focus to get a road win wherever it is super important.
And how good does it feel to finally get your first Big East win of the season as a head coach?
Yeah, it's cool. I'm enjoying every minute of this. The conference is awesome. So many different styles. You got to have that road warrior mentality, which we did today. And I think we're learning a lot about our team, which is so important in January. And these are kind of the dog days, right after the new year of, how do you steal a win on the road? How do you keep everybody confident? And I know we did a lot of great things with our basketball team today.
Well, Coach, congratulations. Certainly an impressive win for Marquette here on the road today as they improve to 1-2 in Big East play. So that'll pretty much do it for us here in Providence. On behalf of our entire hardworking Big East Digital Network team and my broadcast partner, Pam Roger, I'm Mike Mancuso saying so long from Providence for the final score. Marquette 60, Providence 50.